I'm your host, Caitlin Shepard, and welcome to episode 3 of Why Would You Even Say That? This episode, I am naming Why Would You Even Let Yourself Suffer? Because our co-host is drinking water in the background, and it's really loud. Ugh. Anyways, like I said, if our co-host has something to say, I guess it deserves to be heard. But he's also eating, so he's going to be causing chaos in the background. Anyways, my friend, she made an amazing point. She wanted me to talk about therapy and self-help and how I got started on meds. And I basically, she said, it can be hard to finally make the decision to get help / start working on yourself. Like, how did you do it? And so that's what I'm going to share with you guys today. I think that I'm finally in a point in my life where I am definitely not 100%, especially on the mental health scale, but I am still very self-aware. And I am able to talk about it and tell you guys kind of how I feel. So basically my journey with therapy is what we're going to start with. I started doing therapy about 4 years ago, when I was 18. I went and, I went for probably a couple months and I was like, I don't really think this is for me anymore. Like, I'll be okay. And so I went and it was an amazing journey. I loved her. She was such an amazing therapist. And then I went to another one probably about a year later, when I was in college, and she was amazing. Loved her to death. But again, I just ended up deciding that I didn't need to go anymore because I was healed. If you didn't hear the sarcasm in my voice, that was sarcasm. So basically, I ended up, the last therapist that I went to was actually on BetterHelp, and this is not sponsored at all, but she was one of the best therapists I've ever had in my entire life. She basically gave me the best advice that I think anybody could have, especially with how stubborn I am and stuff like that. Like, I just honestly think that she had my best intentions at heart, and she understood what I was going through, and she understood how my brain worked. And I've never really had anybody say that before. She did say, like, all of my therapists always say, like, you're so self-aware, like, I don't understand how you're so sad, blah, 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 like, you're such a happy person. And I'm like, oh, tell me about it, like, I'm just literally a comedian out here with a sad clown face on. Like, I don't know what you want from me. And yeah, so that's kind of how my therapy has gone. I think that it is very beneficial. I think that if you are wanting to go and try therapy, I definitely think that you should, because it's amazing. I definitely stopped going a long time ago. It's been probably about a year since I've gone, maybe a little bit more. But you just get to a point, speaking for me, you just get to a point where you feel like you want to try and take the things that you've learned and apply them to your life in real time. And you can't keep learning new things while you're applying the things that you need to change in your life. And that, especially, that's how my brain works. I'm not saying that that's how everybody's brain works. But that is kind of my journey with therapy. I think that I learned a lot in a very short amount of time, and it definitely helps my life. But at the end of the day, like I said, I am unfortunately a very stubborn person, and it takes so much for my brain to be able to be like, yes, this is it. And it's hard sometimes. And I need to just focus on the things that I know I need to change and that need upgrades and updates. And I can't do that if I'm learning new things. So I definitely think I'll go back eventually. It's just right now I'm in a very self-aware part of my life. And I'm also going through some things that I need to basically I need to figure them out, if that makes any sense. Like, there are just some things that even I don't know how to navigate, and I don't know how to get through it or go through it. And so that's kind of what I'm working on in my life right now. So that's basically it with therapy. Before we talk about self-help and self-care and medicine, I'm going to go ahead and give you a disclaimer. I don't want to have to worry when I'm about to tell you about this stuff if you are going to judge me for saying for judging what I'm saying based on how it sounds. So I'm just going to give you a disclaimer. I'm about to talk about mental health medicines. I'm about to talk about my feelings and what helps me get through those. And if you want to take it in a negative way, that is amazing. You do you, but just know that these are just my feelings. I'm not saying that anybody is making me feel this way, blah, 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 blah. That is your disclaimer. That is all you get. Anyways, so let's go ahead and talk self-help. I think that self-help is very much a needed thing, and more people need to do it. I am not one to take time for myself. I maybe take like a day, if that, every month and a half, every month-ish. I don't know. I wouldn't even say I ever take a full day for myself. It takes a lot for me to try and, space out a day where I don't have any like brand deals to film or work to do or writing to do or formatting to do or friends to hang out with or family to see or things to help people with. It takes a lot. And so I think that it is very crucial to take time for yourself. I also think that it is very crucial to do things that make you happy. And for me personally, I feel like I spend so much time by myself, like when I get home from work and I'm just, out here trying to make our co-host almost got dropped on the floor. But it's just hard whenever you are trying to, do things that you love, but everybody's telling you need to take time for yourself. So at the end of the day, you need to do what makes you happy. Because hanging out with my friends and writing and working and, doing brand deals and stuff like that is what makes me happy. Does it stress me out sometimes? Yeah. But at the end of the day, I'm the type of person where if I sit still, I feel gross. I'm like, ew. And I just can't do it, The only time I ever sit still is when I am loving on our co-host that is sitting in my arms right now, if you're listening. Bama is our co-host. He is my 14-year-old Pomeranian. He is a dweem, a straight dream. Him is stinky man. But him is going to sleep. Anyways, yeah, so I think it's very important to do things that make you happy. I think it's important to just stop taking everybody else's criticism and advice and figure out what actually makes you happy. Not what you think you should be doing, not what you feel like you should be doing, but just what actually makes you happy. And that is honestly where I would start. Like I said, do not take time for myself hardly ever, but when I do, my days consist of rotting on the couch or in my bed. But with that comes some stipulations, okay? I am not the type of person that can sit around in sweatpants or wear sweatpants or sit around in pajamas, and it's not because I'm too good. It is because it strictly makes me feel gross, and I cannot relax if I feel gross. So I put on a pair of jeans and I put on a t-shirt. Do you want down? Do you want down? That's what I thought. Oh, okay. There you go. I put on a pair of jeans, I put on my t-shirt, and I lay in bed or sit on the couch or whatever I need to do. I shower, I take an everything shower, and I do some self-care before I do my self-help. I just feel like there are days where, although I might not want to admit it, I do indeed need to relax. And with that comes a bunch of feelings for me, because I always feel like one of my biggest insecurities is that I feel like I never work hard enough. That is not true. If you know me, you know I work very hard for everything in my life, and I am not just handed anything. I feel like I need to always like prove myself, and so I tend to overwork myself, and sometimes that does lead to me getting burnt out, whether that is with my actual job or with writing or with brand deals or, you know, just doing TikTok and stuff like that. Like, I do get very worn out trying to balance my life, but that's where my lovely planner comes in. Love her to death. Got her from Amazon. She's amazing. My planner and me are like this. If you're listening, I'm crossing my fingers. I love her so much. Could marry her. But yeah, so I think that the self-help portion is just, if you are wanting to make changes in your life and you have reached a point where you have realized that you cannot continue to live the way that you are, and you cannot continue to go at the same rate that you have been going at, then I definitely think that you need to do a couple of things first. If you are the type of person where you are essentially living your life where if you hear anything positive, you're rolling your eyes or you're laughing because you're like, yeah, okay, I have something that I need to tell you. I watched this TED Talk a couple of months ago, and I can't remember exactly who it was by, but it was a TED Talk on suicide. Trigger warning, I'm about to talk about suicide. And he said, he was like, a lot of people that commit suicide don't actually want to die. They just don't want to feel that way anymore. And that really hit for me because I was like, that's so sad. Like, because a lot of people who commit suicide didn't actually want to die. They just didn't want to feel the way that they were doing or feeling anymore. And that is so sad to sit back and think about. I think that in order to be receptive to fixing yourself and changing your neurotypical pathways, you have to open yourself up to change. You have to open yourself up to yourself. And a lot of people don't even realize that they've closed themselves off from themselves until it's too late. And I think that that is something that you really need to sit back and do. And you have to understand that things like this don't happen overnight. They don't happen in a week. They don't happen in a month. It happens over time. And coming from a very impatient person when it comes to myself, I understand. I get it. I get that it sucks. I get that you don't want to wait. I get that you want it to happen now. But at the end of the day, you cannot rush things that take their own course. My time frame is not going to be the same as your time frame. Your time frame is not going to be the same as your best friend's time frame. Everything is different and everything is relative to everything that you have been through and everything that you are working on and everything that you have to work on. So with that being said, change your mindset. Change it from I'm never going to get better, I'm never going to be happy, to might not be happy right now, but I'm trying to be. It might not be good right now, but I'm hoping that it will be, because you are changing yourself to be open to positive things and to change. And when a lot of people don't really like talking about manifestation and stuff like that, but at the end of the day, it is true. Law of attraction is true. Or just honestly, confidence. If you have confidence in yourself and in your abilities, more positive things are going to come your way. I'm not saying there's not going to be bumps in the road. I'm not saying that you might be halfway through your journey and something's going to set you back to the very beginning. But at the end of the day, that is life. And if you are wanting to change your mind and be happy and be comfortable in your life, you're going to have to work hard for it. And there's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. You just have to put in the work. It's just something that has to be done. And if you are not willing to put in that work, then you need to do some reassessing and figure out if you are sabotaging yourself or if you actually just maybe don't want to be happy. And then I would go to therapy. But anyways, I I feel like all of the things we've talked about on the podcast have been kind of dark recently. I feel like I need to do something funny next week. Jeez. But yeah, so if you are wanting to change your neurotypical pathways, you have to be open. You have to be open to realizing that you are in fact doing things wrong, and things that have happened in your past are causing you to think the way that you are now. Whether or not you are sabotaging yourself, or maybe your life, you live a very inconvenient life, or blah 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 blah, whatever. If you're sad, if you're lonely, if you have relationship issues, if you have anger issues, if you're bipolar, like, you just have to figure out for yourself what works for you, what doesn't work for you, and what is going to work for you. And it takes trial and error. And it is so annoying, but it is very, what's the word? It is very worth it. Anyways, I think that when it comes to fixing your brain and trying to be better, you just have to understand that it's not going to happen overnight. I'm still not done. I'm not even nowhere near close. I need to stop overthinking and start figuring out what works for me in different aspects of my life. I need to gain confidence. I need to realize that just because I'm fat doesn't mean that I am not worthy of love. And I need to realize that just because I am fat doesn't mean that I am not capable of things that everybody else is capable of. And with this weight loss journey that I'm on, and with 75 Hard, it has really shown me that obviously I'm willing to work for it, and it is no longer a choice. It is just going to happen. But I have to wake up every single day and choose that. And I think that it is very beneficial when you have to wake up every single day and choose to do something, because you have to remember to do it. And it's the same with mental health. Whether or not you're making a physical or a mental change, you have to wake up every single day and want to make that change and want to be better. And if you don't, then you're not going to do it. And another thing is, you cannot do it for anybody but yourself. You cannot change your mindset because you think that other people think that you should change. You cannot change your mindset because you think that you want to be a certain way. When you are working on yourself, you have to take this with a grain of salt, because it's a metaphor and not actuality. When you are working on yourself, you need to essentially be able to know that the old you has died. So when you say, I haven't been myself lately, that's great, because you're never going to go back to that old version of you again. You are now going to be more receptive, you are going to be more open, and you are going to be more you than you ever were or ever had been. But you have to realize that the old you is not coming back. You don't even want the old you. The old you is letting people run over them, or whatever your issue was. You do not want to be that person anymore. And you have to be okay with shaping a new version of yourself and figuring out what works for you. And I think that that's very important for you to think about before you decide to jump in and, figure it out. If maybe you don't know exactly what kind of help you need, I have 2 books that I highly recommend. If you are a people pleaser, if you are an overthinker, if you have anxiety, if you strictly feel like you're not good enough, or you need help with your confidence, or you are just lost, I highly recommend the next 2 books that I'm about to talk to you about. And I don't really like self-help books because like I said, I feel like I am very self-aware. And whenever I read a self-help book, I'm like, okay, yeah, I know. So the 2 ones that I'm about to recommend to you, highly recommend. The first one is Untamed by Glennon. I think her last name's Doyle. It's Doyle. That is an amazing book. It is basically telling you about her story and about how she went from being married to a man in essentially an unhappy marriage to being severely, she was just not happy with her life, to give you the small breakdown. to being married in a lesbian relationship, and she is just the most amazing person. It's a really good story. It's going to help you build your confidence. It's going to realize that you are spending your whole life waiting to be golden, waiting to be the one who is chosen, waiting to be the one who is in the spotlight. And at the end of the day, if you want to be in the spotlight, you have to create the spotlight for yourself. And I think that book helps me a lot. My friend Jordan recommended it to me and loved it. So the second one, the one that changed my life and also sent me into a depression spiral, this book, I'm going to give you a warning. If you are any of the things that I said earlier, if you have related to this podcast at any point and you don't think that I'm just an idiot preaching to the internet, be so careful if you decide to start this book. The book is called The Mountain Is You by Brianna. I think it's WWYEST. It's WWYEST. Anyways, this book is going to call you out if you are an overthinker, self-sabotager, people pleaser, somebody with anxiety, or somebody with confidence issues. This book is going to call you out and hold you accountable for your shit. And I mean that so bad. This book, I had to listen to it basically like a couple chapters at a time because my brain physically could not take it. Because every single word, I've never read a book and opened it up and thought I was reading my own diary. This book hit so close to home. I made all of my friends read it that would, be okay with reading it. And I haven't heard back from one of them, Jordan, the one that actually recommended Untamed, but I think that she really liked it. And basically, I just think that this book is amazing. But you have to listen to it at the right time, and the beginning of the book will literally tell you that. Do not listen to that book if you are not ready or if you have not done any work already. It is a rough read, but it is going, like I said, it's going to hold you accountable and it's going to call you out for all of your shit. And I love that book. If I could give you a top book that I've ever read my entire life, it would be that book. And I love to read, and you guys know that. Finally, we're going to talk about medicine, and then I'm going to do like a recap. So long story short, last August, August of 2023, I hit a point in my life where I was waking up every single day and being like, when am I going to bed? When do I get to go to sleep? When does this get to be over? And I didn't like that. I am definitely a type of person that likes to wake up and is like ready for the day and like ready to see all my friends at work and ready to go to work and then ready to come home and write and spend my me time with me and Bama. So it was very scary. I had some things that happened in my life around that time period that were really weighing on my mental health. And, with my anxiety, my brain was telling me that everybody hated me and I needed to shut up and pack all my stuff up and Bama and just move to the mountains and never talk to anybody again. And I could not deal with it anymore. I literally went to my best friend. I don't know if he wants to be named, so let's call him Jay. I went to Jay and I was like, I can't do this anymore. I genuinely, me, I have done everything that I can because I don't give up. I hate relying on people. I hate relying on things. And I was like, I don't want to take medicine because what if it does help? And then it's like a crutch, or what if it does help? And then it isn't available anymore. Like something like that. Like I cannot live like that. And he was like, Caitlin, I know you so well. I love you, but you are overreacting. And if you need help, it is okay to ask for help. And I was like, okay. And he gave me some really good advice, and I love him. And he's not watching this video, but if he was, he would know that I love him. And he's helped me a lot. So I will forever be grateful for him giving me that push. Because although it took 2 more weeks after we had that conversation, I finally broke down and called my doctor and was like, hey, we gotta we got to get on this. So I went in the next day and I was like, hey, listen, like, these are the symptoms that I'm having. I was like, my brain is literally like a popcorn bowl with 20 ping pong balls in it. And if you like shook it and like they're like bouncing off the sides, like that's literally all of my thoughts, and I could not stop. So and I was like, I have anxiety and like OCD, like I just can't do it. And she prescribed me Prozac, and it has changed my life, and that's all I'm gonna say about that. I don't think medicine is for everybody, but I do think that if you have reached a point where you're like, I can't live like this anymore, or I can't do this anymore, you should definitely go and talk to your doctor about it, and they will let you know, obviously, what they think is better for you. That I don't really like talking about that stuff, but if you guys ever want to know more or anything like that, I'm always willing to open up about it. I just think that is short and sweet, and I do not like relying on things. I do not like asking for help, and sometimes you just have to bite the bullet and swallow your pride and realize that you cannot do everything by yourself, no matter how much you think you can. And yeah, that's kind of what today's episode is about. I can finally shut my little planner. I think that a lot of people are scared to ask for help because sometimes it can be embarrassing because you want to do everything by yourself and you just can't. You want to be able to fix your mind, but the thing about mental health is that it is relative. It is relative to everything you have been through, everything you have gone through, everything that you're going to go through, and everything that has happened to you in your life. I think it's hard, and I think that there is no right way to do anything when it comes to mental health. I think you strictly have to figure out what works for you and what works for your schedule. And it is definitely not easy. So like I said, I want the best for you. If you are waking up every single day and you are just not wanting to function, I definitely think that you deserve to be a happy human. I definitely think that you deserve to have people in your corner, and you deserve to be happy. I think that you deserve to stop letting people run over you. I think that you deserve to stop having anxiety in public about people that you're never going to see again. Stop, just overthinking every little thing. Like, you're going to be okay. Grow some confidence, live your life, and honestly, live for you and stop living for other people. Because if that's one thing that I've learned since this weight loss journey, I've lost 70 pounds, and I'm telling you right now, it is a mind fuck trying to figure out if people actually like you, or if they just like the fact that you're changing yourself. And if I think about it too much, it will hurt my feelings. But I am choosing to believe that I am doing the right thing, because I am. And at the end of the day, you just have to have confidence in your decisions, babes. Like, you have to. If nobody else is going to support you, you have to support yourself, and you have to want better for yourself, and you have to do it for yourself. I know I've already said that so many times, especially on episodes 1 and 2, but I really mean it. If you are wanting to do better, be better. If you want people to treat you better, treat them better. With that being said, if you're treating them better and they are not treating you better, then you need to get out of there, because people normally do not change. And if they do change, they have to want to change for themselves. You cannot make them change. You cannot change him. You cannot change her. They are going to do what they want to do and what they think is best for them. And that's just period. And it sucks. And, men suck. Women suck sometimes. It really just, everything is relative. And that's what you need to know. And I don't know, guys, I'm super excited. I hope that next week's episode is going to be a little bit lighter than this week's, because I'm a little bit tired of talking about all this serious stuff. I'm ready to hee hee ha ha again, But I love you guys, and I hope that you have an amazing week. I hope that you have a great weekend. By the next time I see you, it'll almost be February, which is crazy. But yeah, I love you guys so much. what's our mantra going to be this week? I think our mantra, like our reminder this week, should be choose yourself. And I know that was last week's, but I think that you guys need it 2 weeks in a row for it to really stick. I love you. Choose yourself, and you're the best. Bye.